Hey, what's up, guys? And welcome back to another Real Madrid review. I can't believe I'm saying this, but yeah, it's taken me a few days to sort of digest this game. That's why this video is going out late. And look, I still can't believe I'm saying this, but Arsenal 3, Real Madrid nil. I mean, like, come on. We are getting to a point now where I don't know whether I should laugh or I should cry. I really don't. And how can a team with the players that Real Madrid have be this bad? And we are gonna hear people, and I certainly do believe that injuries have played a big part. And I think a lot of people will use that as, the excuse. Carvajal's injured, Militao's injured. Okay, I totally get that. Mendy's injured as well. So Bios is injured as well. These are players who make the team better. And obviously you will suffer, you will struggle without key players. It happens to every team. But on the pitch, the starting 11, Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., Bellingham, Rodrigo, Camavinga, Modric, Alaba, Rudiger, Asensio, Valverde, Courtois, and I will cut Courtois slack. No one is going to go and blame Courtois for either of the three goals, because he was probably the best player for Real Madrid, and he probably was up there in terms of the effort, in terms of not giving up that hope. What did we say in the preview? The players who have constantly been trying, even though this team has been not playing that well, you can see Courtois, I think Bellingham, and Mbappe. Really, you have seen these three players giving their 100% even though the team is struggling. And when you have got that starting 11, like I just named, how can you be losing 3-0 to Arsenal? This is an Arsenal side that don't have a striker. Gabriel is injured as well. They don't have, exactly the best defense in terms of the name. I mean, they are great players, but like I said, Gabriel is injured. They're playing a youngster who isn't even a left back at left back. They're playing a center midfielder at striker, and two of their goals came from midfielder. Three of their goals came from midfielders, but two came from free kicks. I mean, come on, come on. Let's just, you know, have a, we have supposed to have a serious conversation about this a long time ago. I believe this season has been a struggle, and we've seen it earlier this season. The first few games of the season, the draws against the likes of Mallorca and Las Palmas, and you thought, okay, start of the season, maybe you'll get better, it should get better, and then you hit a couple of games, you know, in a season, like the 4-0 to Barcelona, like losing to AC Milan, like losing to Lille, like losing to Liverpool, and you start to wonder, you know, is this team in a decline? Is this team just not gelling together? And then you have that sort of hope again, and then you go and lose 5-2 to Barcelona. And then again, you have a bit of hope again, and again, you start to lose again. And, we saw it. Against Real Sociedad, it wasn't great. Against Leganes, it wasn't great. Against Valencia, it was awful. against Arsenal is shit. I mean, to be honest, the performance was disgraceful. Like I said, the only players who I thought can leave the field, leave the pitch with their head held high. Courtois, because the saves he made, it could have been 4, 5, 6, 7-0. It could have been probably the worst game in Real Madrid's history. I thought Bellingham, again, it wasn't great, but he had moments. You know, people are gonna look at individual moments, like I said, you know, certain moments, maybe he was caught out, but that team wasn't playing well. Obviously, he got affected, but he still put in the effort. So did Mbappe. But a team does not rely on 2 to 3 players giving their effort, giving their 100% to win. It's a team sport, it's a team game. Every single player on the pitch, the 11 players and the 5 subs, whoever comes on, needs to give their 100% when they come on. When you wear a Real Madrid shirt, especially, you must give in your 100%. You must work your socks off. And like I said, 3 players did it, and the rest, no. And I'm gonna cut some slack to Luka Modric because, again, we always say this is a player who is 39. He should not be playing as a starter in these games, and we should not be relying on him to control the game. Toni Kroos did it last year, I get that, but Luka Modric is a lot older, and he's 39, and people have been saying that Real Madrid don't need a midfielder because they have got many. Bellingham, Camavinga, Modric, Valverde, Ceballos, Tchouaméni. That's how many is that again? Bellingham, Camavinga, Modric, Tchouaméni, Ceballos. Is that 5? Is that 6? Yeah. Modric should not be starting. And we need a dictator in the midfield. We need a player who can control the game. And that is not Camavinga. That is not Bellingham. That is not Valverde. And the closest that we have to that is Dani Ceballos. And to be honest, even he isn't that sort of player. But we need Ceballos back in the second leg. And speaking of the second leg, we'll get on to that. Do you believe Real Madrid have a shot at coming back? I think there is. And you might call me delusional. And of course, as a Real Madrid fan, I don't have to believe in this team. But I do believe that there is something in this team that it just seems that you can't write off in Champions League. And maybe again, like I said, that might just be delusion. But, who knows? But the midfield was absolutely key. And he was losing battles with their midfield. The defense was honestly horrible. And look, I thought Fede Valverde had trouble dealing with Lucas Vazquez, but I've had people actually tell me that Lucas Vazquez should have started. If you really genuinely believe that Lucas Vazquez should have started in that team, no matter where, but probably right back to be honest, then you're out of your mind. Because there is nothing. Lucas Vazquez is not a magician. He's not, a player who can give you the free win. He's not going to come on and, turn into prime Messi and Ronaldo combined. He's not going to do that. He's a liability defensively, and playing man right back wouldn't have done anything. If you wanted, you could have let Lorenzo Aguado, for example, get that start. Were we going to do that? Absolutely not. So, if it's not going to be Lorenzo Aguado. And Lucas Vazquez is not a right back, has never been a right back, was converted to a right back, but is not a right back. Then you have a problem that you have to obviously use Fede Valverde, unless you move Raul Asensio to right back and you play Rudiger and Alaba, and you get Valverde in the midfield. But even then, would we have controlled the midfield? No. But we would have had more legs in the midfield, definitely. But I think tactically, there is no tactics, really. When I say there is no tactics, I don't mean, the manager comes in, guys, there's nothing going on today, do what you want to do. I mean, there is no clear, vision in the team in terms of we are going to play this style of football. We are going to make sure we do pressing, or we are more focused on possession or anything like that. It's just a bunch of players going out there. Arsenal get the ball, Arsenal know what they're doing, we get the ball, we try to go on a counter attack, we rely on individuals to win the game, and when we lose the ball, we crumble, and when we give away free kicks and we let them score goals, we come back and we lose 3-0 and we get embarrassed. There is no clear goal. The minute it was 1-0 for Arsenal, did we see a change in terms of the tactics? No. 2-0? No. 3-0? No. So, as much as this is on the players, you have to look at the manager. I mean, Ancelotti, look, like I've said with many players and, legends of this club. For example, Lucas Vazquez. I would highly regard Lucas Vazquez as a legend, for what he has done. And also for his character. For, staying at this club, serving, playing when he has been needed. He doesn't complain. He doesn't, make a big fuss. And he has obviously achieved a lot at Real Madrid. But it is obviously the character. And Carlo Ancelotti has been very successful. He has brought in his way of doing things. He has brought in, obviously, like I said, the man management style. Obviously, the players who have been coached by him, who have worked with him, obviously at Real Madrid as well. I have a lot of respect for him, because this is a manager who knows how to manage. He obviously goes around the player, gives him a hug, and understands what the player is going through, and he does this with every player, right? But, and I'm not trying to suggest that I'm Ancelotti out. I'm not trying to do that. I think there's a big difference in being Ancelotti out and saying that this team does not have a vision, to be honest. And if you ask me, would I want Carlo Ancelotti to continue? Personally, I would like to see a new manager. I think in football, with fans, we want to see something different. We want to see a Xabi Alonso come in at Real Madrid. But if Carlo Ancelotti stays, it's not on him. It's not Real Madrid fans don't like him. But this team is probably going to go into another season. You might sign Trent, you might sign Zubimendi, you might sign Hewson. But again, it's going to be relying on individuals to carry the team. There is not going to be a clear tactic. It's going to be just go out there, express yourself, and play. And as much as that is good in certain scenarios, in games like these, players, when they concede 2, when they concede 3, they're left on the pitch thinking, what's going on? Who's going to take charge? And obviously, speaking on which, there was reports coming out after the game. Vinicius, Mbappe, I think Bellingham, and I think Valverde spoke out to the dressing room after the game. Saying, obviously things like, we have to be better than this. But where was the communication on the pitch? Did we see that communication on the pitch? We didn't. So, look, for me, there is a lot going wrong at this club right now, and I don't think it is on the players. These players won the Champions League last season. We haven't changed a lot. You can't tell me that Joselu and Nacho leaving has caused this team to, decline. And you can't tell me that Mbappe joining has caused this team to decline, because this is a player who has got 33 goals in all competitions. But clearly, right now, there is a lack of vision. The players are looking at each other going, who's going to lead, who's going to take charge, who's going to carry us. And on the pitch, we're being screwed. Defensively, shocking. Midfield, losing battles. Attack, selfish at times. Too unselfish at times. Being selfish in certain scenarios is good, but in certain it isn't. You have to balance between being a selfish player in front of goal and being an unselfish player. If you are in a 2v1 situation and you are unselfish, great. If you are in a position where you should take a shot and you decide to pass and the attack and the chance is gone, that's not a good thing either. So, personally, this team needs a huge wake-up call for the rest of the season. Because La Liga, 4 points behind Barcelona. We have to play them away. We have got the Copa del Rey final. We have to play Barcelona. We've got Arsenal, second leg, at the Bernabeu. We're going to need something historical that has never happened to Real Madrid ever. We have heard of this Real Madrid remontada many times, but none as huge as this in terms of overcoming a 3-0 deficit. So we're going to see something, or we have to expect to see something for the first time that is special. But before we get into that, the goals. I mean, the first free kick I thought was beautiful. I mean, I'm gonna be honest here. I thought the 2 free kick goals were both beautiful. The first one that curl over the wall, the curl, over the wall. I mean, that's beautiful. Declan Rice, fair play. The second one, I mean, it was just brilliant, wasn't it? Top corner. What can we say? So for those 2 goals, I'm not blaming Thibaut Courtois because no keeper is saving that. The third goal, just poor defending. I'm not blaming Courtois for that either, to be honest. I mean, it's just poor defending. Marino, yeah. Absolutely poor. That's a free shot, really. So, if you had told me a 1-0 or a 2-0 defeat, I would have pretty much, had hope and optimism. But 3-0, it's going to be obviously very tough. We know that. But the first 10 to 20 minutes is going to be key. Because in the first 20 minutes, if Real Madrid can get 1 goal back, then I think the Bernabeu will have the momentum, and hopefully in the first 45 minutes, after the first 20 minutes, in the next 25 minutes, if Real Madrid can score another goal heading into the second half, I think there is a very big chance. But Arsenal are going to play defensive. They are known as, the most defensive top team when it comes to defending certain situations. They've got a 3-0 lead. They're going to play defensive. There is no reason for them to go all out offensive. They are leading 3-0. They're not going to get themselves exposed and caught out at the back. They're going to play defensive. And for the first 20 minutes, it will be key because you're going to be playing against a low block. And with Real Madrid, we know we hate playing against teams that play low block. But that will also mean more opportunities for the players. But that will also mean we might get countered. With the pace they have, with Saka, with Martinelli, you might get countered. So you must keep possession well, and you can't lose it in key areas, and you must take your opportunity in the first 15-20 minutes. At least one goal. And by halftime, at least 2 goals to have a real conversation about this comeback. Can it happen? It can. It's not impossible. But will it happen? What is my percentage take on this? I would say 35% for Real Madrid, to be honest, to come back from this. You people might say it's quite high. I've seen people give Real Madrid 1% chance, and I think that the computer, if I'm not wrong, have given Real Madrid a 1% chance of coming back or something, or winning the Champions League in general. I think. But I've seen people give Real Madrid 5%, 10%, 15%, and it's quite low to come back in this tie. And I've given a 35, which is quite high, to be honest, for a team that are 3-0 down. But it is the Bernabeu. The players clearly know that they have done a lot wrong. The players know that this is their last chance to redeem themselves. And I just have that feeling that maybe these players will do it. And again, the first 15-20 minutes, a goal, the pressure's on. The first half, 2 goals. Second half, another goal. Maybe you concede, but you score another goal. It could be crazy. It could be chaotic. But we need to start the game right. And 90 minutes at the Bernabeu is going to be a long, long time. So we can only hope. But we've put ourselves in this position, and we've only got ourselves to blame. That's the truth. And if we are out of this competition for good, if we can't make it through, then, like I said, we've only got ourselves to blame, and Arsenal were better. Because we let them be. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. If you guys did, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel that's on already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.